All right.
8,
All right.
7, 6, 5, 2.
Uh, Good afternoon, members of the media. Yesterday, the Davis administration introduced an important piece of legislation aimed at enhancing oversight and ensuring greater accountability in our law enforcement structures. This is a critical step in our ongoing commitment to transparency and good governance. The Independent Commission of Investigation Bill 2022 seeks to establish an autonomous body empowered to receive and investigate complaints against members of the security forces and specified officials. This independent commission will have the authority to gather evidence, summon witnesses, and recommend criminal charges where necessary. It underscores the government's dedication to ensuring fairness, impartiality, and accountability in addressing allegations of misconduct. The Attorney General will provide further details on this legislative initiative next Monday during a session with members of the media. This will be an opportunity to expand more on the objectives of this bill and what it would mean for the Bahamian people and the relevant law enforcement agencies. Additionally, the Prime Minister announced his intention to recommend ACP Shanta Knowles for the role of Commissioner of Police. In the coming days, the Prime Minister will address this significant appointment in more details. Yesterday, he met with both the Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernando, and ACP Knowles as a part of this transition. As the Prime Minister stated before, ACP Knowles is a strong candidate. Her track record underscores her readiness to lead the Royal Bahamas Police Force. ACP Knowles has dedicated over 3 decades to the Royal Bahamas Police Force, exemplifying professionalism and commitment. She has commanded the Grand Bahama and the Northern Bahamas as Assistant Commissioner, showing her ability to manage large and complex jurisdiction effectively. ACP Knowles has led key divisions, including the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, Family Islands, and the National Crime Prevention Office. She made history as the first female to head the CID, overseeing all major crimes across the Bahamas. ACP Knowles has 28 years of experience as an investigator, handling serious cases such as rape, armed robbery, murder, and expertise and precision. She successfully investigated the Bahamas' first crime trafficking case, a testament to her skills and dedication. She managed the sexual offenses squad and the trafficking in-person squad, reinforcing her commitment to justice for vulnerable populations. The Davis administration remains committed to strengthening our law enforcement agencies and promoting accountability and ensuring that the leadership positions are filled by individuals of proven expertise and the vision to lead this much-needed reform. This office looks forward to updating the Bahamian people on these important developments in the days ahead. I thank you, and I invite the members of the media for any questions they may have.
I want to ask, the opposition has been calling for a commission of inquiry. What is the government's position?
The government position at the time is that the Prime Minister and the Extension Administration believe that the bill being proposed is sufficient enough to launch a kind of inquiry. We wait to have a robust conversation with the opposition. In that regard, we hope that they will support this as a mechanism for that investigation. This bill is currently out for public consultation. So as we speak right now, I think the solution to that problem is to use this new oversight commission to address those concerns the public may have.
But why not just use the existing framework?
I'm sure that next week the AG will have the opportunity to speak more specifically to the comparison between the Commission of Inquiry and the Independent Investigation Commission. And so you'll have an opportunity to go in further detail as to which one may be the best. I think, if I'm not correct, I think that with the commission, I'm not sure whether or not it'll be able to refer criminal charges. So, I mean, the Commission of Inquiry, I'm not sure whether it'll be able to refer criminal charges. With the independent commission, that commission will have the ability to refer charges if they find gross misconduct and breaches in the law.
You talk about ACP Knowles' careers generally, but what has she done specifically, or instances that she's done, that gives the Prime Minister confidence that she has the ability to tackle corruption, misconduct in the ways the public would want to have?
I think Mr. ACP Knowles' resume speaks for itself. I think in the coming days, both her and the Prime Minister will be able to speak much more frankly and in details with the public. I think that her extensive career at CID and her investigation abilities demonstrate her ability to take on the tough challenge. She has developed the reputation as being a no-nonsense person. I mean, you speak to members of the force. I think that this is a moment that requires our national unity to stand behind Ms. Knowles. We all want her to succeed. And I think that when it comes to the point of transition, I think that the PM, the Prime Minister, will speak more broadly to her capacities. And most certainly, she will have an opportunity to speak directly to the Bahamian people as to what she brings to the table and the kind of reforms she would want to bring, and specifically to the challenges that the Royal Bahamas Police Force currently face.
What is the response of the opposition?
Go ahead, one question at a
What is
time.
the response of the opposition who says the Prime Minister's announcement of that recommendation was premature, given that Pintar says he was waiting on an opportunity to consult with his opposition caucus to then give his contributions?
But also, I'm being advised by my deputy comms off director of communication that the leader of the opposition has sent a letter committing his support to her. We was confused yesterday afternoon when we heard that he didn't know her personally. He didn't know her. I didn't know in which terms he was referring to, but she has been in charge of the Northern Division for a year. Thanks for that update. I think I suspect that the leader of the opposition will speak more broadly to his support.
For clarity, when did we get that letter?
This morning, the Prime Minister will receive a letter from the leader of the opposition confirming his support to ACP Shanta Knowles.
Well, Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernando, former commissioner, I guess.
He's still current commissioner. Commissioner, yes.
He said on Sunday in his national address that the investigation into Michael Johnson will be completed by the end of the year. Now that we're in this transitionary period, will us still be on track, or will we see that delayed?
Well, I don't want to get ahead of the communication on transition. Of course, matters specific to the transition will have to be communicated either by the Prime Minister or the Commissioner himself. I have not spoken to the Prime Minister directly about the issue of the transition. I think that the police force in itself is committed to that timeline. Of course, I think that the Bahamian people anxiously await the result. Let me step back and saying that this investigation in itself, the Michael Johnson one in particular, was one done with our UK partners, our American partners. This was done with multiple law enforcement agencies. So I think that this investigation will have the credibility once that result come up. This was not a situation where the Royal Bahamas Police in itself alone was commissioning this investigation.
We know ACP's choice, but what's going to happen to the other senior officer in leadership? As we understand, Lena Delavo is set for retirement in a few days.
Yeah, the ACP, Lehman Delavo, is set to retire, I think December 10th. The Prime Minister has spoken to his intention to make further changes to the Royal Bahamas Police Force. He has not communicated those further changes to me. Obviously, the intent of the Prime Minister now is to ensure that the force leadership is able to take on the level of reforms needed. Last week, the Prime Minister described the U.S. Southern District indictment as an act of betrayal. I think that the Bahamian people expect and demand that the Prime Minister will move in a manner that will restore confidence, overall confidence to the police force. I think that's something the Prime Minister wants to achieve.
What's going to happen with the other agencies? Because it's not just the police that's mentioned in that indictment. You have a defense force officer, a chief petty officer, and you also have allegations of other officials who they don't name. But what's going to happen in these other institutions? What changes can people expect? Because it's not just the police force.
So definitely, let me just answer this in two parts. One, the Prime Minister has not met. He's spoken with the Commodore of the Defense Force by phone. He has not, at the time, met with the leadership of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. He intended to do so to get an understanding of the kind of initiative that they see from their perspective, and to further evaluate what's happening in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. The commission of the Investigation Commission will have also have the authority to deal specifically as well with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. So if there's a need to investigate further any level of misconduct, this independent commission will have the ability to do so.
And pivoting, you issued the statement this morning about the proposal from the Trump transition team terms of deportation flights. Was this request made directly to the government?
So my understanding, and I would want you guys to speak much more specifically to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Office of the Prime Minister did issue a statement this morning in response to a proposal by the transition of the Trump administration. Let me also be clear that the Bahamas' position on migration has not changed. It has been the same from when Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham was Prime Minister during the challenges with Aristide in Haiti and the turmoil. Then Prime Minister Ingraham was approached by the U.S. government with the same issue of migration. This is not a contentious issue between the government of the Bahamas and the Trump administration. This has been very consistent. We see the U.S. as our partners. We look forward to working along with the government of the Bahamas, look forward to working along with the incoming Trump administration. These are regional security challenges, but the position of the Bahamas has always been consistent, regardless of the current administration in the United States.
And to be clear, this deportation flights, these are not just Bahamians, these are other nationals as well they're proposing. The proposals speak to other nationals from other countries, but I just want to reiterate that this is not a contentious issue between the government of the Bahamas or the incoming Trump administration. We see the United States, the government of the Bahamas see the United States as our valued partners. We share a lot of mutual interests on the issue of national security. The Prime Minister and by extension the administration look forward to working along with the incoming Trump administration. The Bahamas' position on migration has been consistent both in the FNM and the PLP. Our position is that the Bahamas do not have the resources to deal or accommodate with large migration flows.
How has the government taken in light of what has come out with the U.S. saying that, it has been agreed that they will send migrants to the Bahamas?
It's not been agreed. It's not been agreed.
And just to be clear, did the transitionary team speak to or express concerns about Bahamians unlawfully residing in the U.S.?
Oh, pardon me?
The Trump transitional team.
I cannot speak to the specifics of the proposal outside the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. What I can speak to is the statement that the Office of the Prime Minister released this morning.
Okay, you didn't really answer my question though. Did that team send a request?
Yes,
to the
yes.
I mean, you said the transition is still being discussed between the PM, but do we know when is the last day for Commissioner Fernando to be commissioner?
I revert to my previous comments. I will wait for the Prime Minister to speak more specifically to the transition of the leadership between Mr. Fernando and Ms. Knowles.
Going back to the relationship between the Bahamas and the U.S., we spoke to the former Minister of National Security, Marvin Dames. He said that it's troubling the fact that the Bahamas and a lot of the officials here in the Bahamas did not know about this U.S. indictment before. Does this administration feel, one, disrespected at the fact that it just was dropped on our laps? And also, are you concerned at the fact that our relationships with our allies in the U.S. and in the region could be falling because of this situation?
The Prime Minister had the opportunity to speak with the U.S. Charge of Affairs. They both sides reconfirmed their partnership. The Bahamas, like I said, national security priorities, and they will do what is in the best interest of their citizens and their jurisdiction, and we will respect them for that. I mean, at the same time, that government remains strong. We will always share a special relationship when it comes to national security priorities. The Prime Minister reaffirmed his administration partnership with the U.S. government, and they both sides agree that they will work towards helping the government achieve the objective of shaking those bad apples out of the Bahamas Police Force.
Well, when you said the critics who argue that, one, the Davis administration was blindsided by these allegations, right? Two, and that they should be blindsided by such allegations, that there be such, official allegations of corruption. What do you say to those critics?
I mean, the government of the Bahamas don't have the luxury to lament on this issue for a very long time. The Bahamian people, at the end of the day, want to see results. They want to see those who breach their laws held accountable, and they want to see the government of the Bahamas move quickly in restoring those trust and the trust and confidence in these institutions. When it comes to the specifics of that relationship, I'm certain the Prime Minister will be able to speak more broadly to the relationship, but as of now, we remain committed to that partnership, that relationship insofar as the mutual areas of concern between both nations. And with that being said, I thank you for the days.
I wanted to know, what's the message officials are hoping to send on the heels of the Prime Minister announcing ACP Knowles, woman bringing barriers, that kind of thing. We also see Cameroon has a significant number of women parliamentarians.
So this will be the last thing I respond to. In the 184 years of the Royal Bahamas Police Force as an organization, this will be the first time a woman will be Commissioner of Police. Whilst this is an historic accomplishment, and we are proud once she's appointed by the Governor General, we are proud of that accomplishment, but this has less to do with her gender than to do with her qualifications. The Prime Minister didn't sit down and say, he asked one specific question, I think he reviewed it. Who's the best person to lead the Royal Bahamas Police Force at this time? And it just so happened that she was a woman. Thanks so much, colleagues, and this is the end of our press conference.